trying to be, I'm trying to reach the end zone. You think I'm kinda sweet and you wanna be friends though? It's cool though. Just don't try to play me for no fool, yo. Views from the friend zone. I'm trying to be, I'm trying to reach the end zone. You think I'm kinda sweet and you wanna be friends though? It's cool though. Just don't try to play me for no fool, yo. Yeah. Welcome to another edition of the Views from the Friend Zone podcast. This is our season finale. Happy Sunday, y'all. You know, fall's in full effect. You know what I'm saying? It went from hot girl summer to, fall back fall where we're trying to be laid back and stuff like that. You know, we're just going to have another great show, have a great guest, but I'm going to have everybody introduce themselves, starting to my left.
It's your boy Cliff Brockman.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Day Cash.
Yes. So, Day Cash got a fire clothing line.
Appreciate that.
Seen the brand, seen different articles, and I was just like, yo, fire. The jackets are fire.
I appreciate that, man.
Jackets are real fire, real official. But, we're going to give you a chance to introduce yourself. You know what I'm saying? First thing I want to say is recipes to Atiana Jefferson, a young lady who was killed in her home. Police came through, supposed to do a welfare check and wound up shooting and killing her.
Are you serious?
At this point in time, as black people, I don't even understand, where you safe at. Like, if you chilling in your crib, that's, two high-profile cases in Texas where black people are chilling in their home and
Right.
they're getting shot and killed. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know what kind of decorum you're supposed to have when you're in your home, but that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I want to say rest in peace to her. She had a child with her too, which is crazy.
Oh,
But
man.
we're gonna get into the show, but have our guests. So introduce yourself again. Let them know how they can reach out to you, and then
Yes.
give us a background on your
All
line.
right. Well, first of all, I want to thank you guys, your brothers, for reaching out, man, and just having me on your show. Really greatly honored. But my name is Day Cash. I'm the founder of Royale Clothing. It's a clothing line that is based on righteousness, obedience, yoke, everlasting Lord.
Oh yeah, so it's an
So,
acronym,
Yes, it's an acronym.
but it also plays on being royal as well.
Correct,
Dope,
correct.
dope,
So,
dope.
Royale is a faith-based clothing line. It was inspired. I'm a man of God, so when God gave me this vision, I wanted to do something that glorified Him.
Yeah,
But at the same time, you know, society always has this negative outlook on on church and the perception of being a Christian and everything like that. So I wanted to come up with a brand that gives Him the glory, but at the same time don't turn people off.
Yeah.
So you always gotta listen. In this world, the enemy comes in different ways of trying to be slick in his tactics. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Even as you watch TV, there'll be times where when we was coming up, you would never see cartoons that promote, you know, lesbian and people, gay and those type of acts, whatever. But the enemy is real slick in his ways of doing things of that nature. So basically, God gave me the vision of Royale's to try to send His message, but at the same time be more relatable.
yeah,
You see what I'm saying? So He gave me this. I was reading the Bible, and then the word royal came up 3 times.
hmm
Came up 3 times, and I was like, "Why you?" I was like, "Lord, why this word keeps popping up?" So I just end up changing, the A to the E, and then later, like months later on, He gave me the acronym for what each word represents,
yeah,
and basically, He just gave me the vision, and I wanted to kind of make it look real cool, and He said that, I would, because of the belief that I have, a lot of people will kind of follow my path because I look just like them.
yeah,
Sometimes when you try to talk about the word of God, whatever, people may not receive it because they can't relate to you. You're not relatable. You don't look like them.
yeah.
But because I look like the people who I'm trying to reach out to, I'm more interesting. You understand what I'm saying?
I want to give you props on
Yeah.
how good the quality of the clothing
Oh,
is.
yeah.
A lot of times you see up and coming clothing lines, and
Mhm.
sometimes you see the samples or the quality's not there yet. And I
Right.
understand when you don't have certain amount of backing, sometimes it's tough.
Capital,
But
yeah.
I feel like even on your first run, you've done a
Right.
really good job on that.
Yeah. Listen, and that's I give God all the glory with that. You know, I take pride in my work, and especially if something that I'm trying to represent Him, he's not gonna lead you astray as far as hooking up with people that's gonna give you bad quality.
Yeah.
So everything that I do, I give him the praise because I was able to link up with some manufacturers overseas, and my first run, actually, when I launched it last year, I wasn't really pleased with the quality, and as I was doing business with the individual, I just didn't like how he was conducting business at all.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, his lack of communication was poor, and then the way he did my t-shirts was I just couldn't. I said if I wanted to move forward and want to promote a certain standard, I can't rock with this guy anymore. So I end up leaving him, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna just go about cutting out the middleman and go. And I didn't know what direction to go. I just happily to stumbled upon this connect, and another connect reached out to me, and then we just started just vibing like that, and it was a leap of faith because this is not, when you're dealing with people from overseas, you don't know if they have to get you, you don't know if they have to do some scams, but I didn't tell anyone because sometimes in life when you have a vision, you gotta best keep it to yourself and just push forward because you don't want nobody to kind of put their opinions or their negative vibes on you and kind of discourage you. So sometimes, if you have, for people out there, you have a vision and God gave you a passion, sometimes you just got to keep it within and just pursue it. Sometimes the best thing being said is not saying nothing at all. You know what I'm saying? So
Cliff, you got. What is your target audience?
Target audience, it's practically from, I have different designs and styles for everyone.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not really limited to just one particular group. I'm just starting out, so I'm just doing just the basics right now.
Okay.
But my whole catalog, that what I have in my plans, is gonna, trust me, it's gonna be for everyone. So I would say ranges from 18-year-old to all the way to 50.
Okay.
So it's something for everybody.
So it's a wide range.
Yeah, it's a wide range.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Have you been done any fashion weeks or plan to have any runway shows or anything of that
Oh,
nature?
that's definitely in the whole schedule. Absolutely. I'm a person of timing. Just like I was talking to my man Cliff here, we've been talking for so long now.
For a minute. That's how.
For a minute.
So that's how I told him. Yeah, I was telling my bro, I was like, I gotta plug him in.
It's funny because I told Cliff, yo, we done for the season. He's
Right,
like,
right.
nah, we need to put my man on. I've been
Yeah.
talking to for a while. I said, all right, let's do
Yeah,
another
we've
one.
been talking for a minute, and it's just all about timing. And one thing about me, I don't like to move if I feel like it's not right.
Yeah.
If it's not right, I'm not gonna move on it. And I definitely have plans of doing fashion shows. Of course, that's definitely I'm a clothing brand, so I'm definitely gonna have that in the works. But I'm gonna move in my own lane, in my own time, in my own speed, because I want to make sure everything is right as far as everything I do. So
Why don't you stand up to show the people what you're
sure,
wearing
sure.
to
This
promote your
Just a
brand?
little something. This is one of the new T-shirts that came out this year, this past summer.
Okay.
It's the Royale. This is 230 GSMs.
Okay.
So that's basically the weight of the T-shirt. It's 100% cotton. So I'm very detailed. Got the label, got the Royale label right here. I got the other label, the 5G.
Yeah.
You understand?
So what's behind the 5G? Because I see the 5G on a lot of the
You see the
prints.
the 5G. This is the sweatpants right here. I just released this for. You know what I'm saying? Very heavy. The 5G represents the 5 letters in Royale. Royale's 5 letters.
Okay.
And also in the Bible, the number 5 represents grace.
Okay.
So that's why I push a lot of God's grace. You see the hat here, it has God's grace.
Yeah.
So that's where the 5G comes from. So
I like the symbolism. It's a lot of
there's a lot of everything that I do has meaning to it. That's why my slogan I use a lot is Royale, fashion with a
nothing.
message.
I gotta give props for because, like you said, it's faith based. A lot of times, things are faith based, and you get like the Steph Curry kind of, the Steph Curry dad shoes kind of flavor, and it's not really like you wanna support God in the word, but sometimes you wanna still be fly.
Listen, now,
for lack of better words,
so
you know what I'm saying?
I'm so glad you mentioned that. So basically, And shout out to all the, faith-based Christian clothing brands out there. And I'm not knocking it. I love it. But in order to catch a certain crowd and demographic, you don't want. I didn't want to come out with something in that lane because then you're gonna limit your audience
and
you
the
see what I'm
appeal
saying?
of it too.
Yeah, you're gonna limit your audience, and now you just really kind of. It's kind of like you just targeted one specific group, which is faith Christians and faith-based people who has very spiritual. But Royale comes from a different angle.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Yes, it's faith-based, but yes, it's kind of in disguise.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
But that's how you.
And that's how you got to do it.
That's the new age word.
Correct.
You meet them where they at.
Exactly.
Versus a lot of times you grow up like, not to say there's anything wrong with the church, because I just came from church.
Right.
But sometimes you can't just limit your audience to one place. Sometimes you got to meet them where they're at.
Absolutely.
And I feel your clothing line is
because at the end of the day,
achieving that.
Jesus had to do the same thing.
He had a traveling ministry as well.
Yeah, Jesus did not stay at home, and in order for that woman to reach his hem, he had to go where she was at.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
100%.
In order to save the people and heal the blind and people with leprous, he had to reach where they was at. You feel what I'm saying?
I'm glad we getting a word on this Sunday. You know what I'm saying? All right, so we're going to jump into the show.
Yes.
And then we're also going to give you time again to shout out, let people know how they can reach out.
No problem. Appreciate
support and all that, right? So the first topic is, what are you willing to do to fall in love, right? Because a lot of times, fall is the season where it's just like, all right, we about to start getting booed up.
Yeah.
You finish running around, thotting all summer. Now it's just like, I got to limit who I'm going to deal with.
Okay.
And a lot of times, it's easy to jump into a relationship, but it takes time and effort and thought to fall in love.
Okay.
And sometimes you can confuse the two. You can be in a relationship for years and never really fell in love.
Right.
So we want to just dissect the psychology of falling in love.
Okay.
First question is, it's easy to be in a relationship, but it's hard to fall in love. Why do you think so?
Now, see, I only could go off of my own experience and my own path of dealing with different relationships. So I would say, again, I'm a man of God, so I owe everything that I say and that I do in life. You always got to incorporate the Father first, because he gives you directions. He gives you a sense of a discernment. You know what I mean? For those who don't know what that is, it's kind of like your spider sense. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So he gives you awareness of something that's about to happen, or if you meet somebody, he always throws signs gives you signs about a certain person. And a lot of times we see those signs, but we ignore it.
Yeah.
Because, this person got a nice body, or this person makes a lot of money, or this person's very popular. So we tend to ignore the important qualities and characteristics in a person because we kind of want to feel, I'm gonna feel like somebody because this person look like this, or this person makes this.
Okay.
So that's what that is.
What about you, Cliff? Why is it so easy to be in a relationship, but it's hard to fall in love?
I think it's so easy, like to piggyback what Cash is saying. I think it's so easy to be in a relationship because relationships, some people, when it comes to being together, some people just want to have that look.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to be with this popular guy, I want to be with this popular Instagram model, or whoever's popular. Falling in love it takes a lot of research and time to figure out that person and really detail the relationship, because you could be the most beautiful person in the world, but if you don't got no substance to it, it's not going to work. So you're not really going to fall in love with that person. You just fall in love with the image.
Yeah.
So that's what I think.
I agree. I feel like the reason why so many of us are in relationships and not really falling in love is because relationships is just occupying space in someone's life. It's two people just, we're together, we're giving that, the attempt of just being together. But a lot of times we approach relationship with just self-interest, right? So we're just like, all right, this might be, the sex is good, or this is someone, I can kick it with, but we don't take the time to, like you guys were saying, learn that person, learn their ways, learn their faults. Like you said, bring the Father into it, approach it with a godly intent.
That's right.
I think a lot of times because the stigma of being single means like, oh, there's something wrong with us.
Right.
So a lot of times people just rush to be in a relationship Sometimes you in a relationship with someone that you had no business being in a relationship
Right,
with.
right,
But just to occupy the title of being in a relationship,
Right.
we take up each other's time. But to fall in love is to not only love the positive things, but it's also dealing with the negative things, helping the person be a better person, letting that person's influence make you a better person.
Absolutely.
So that's why I feel like, falling in love, I think a lot of times we don't sit back and think about what it takes. It's a sacrifice to fall in love.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because sometimes being in love, you kind of got to be like, you know what? I don't see the big picture here, but this person's worth me figuring out and growing with.
Yeah.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I feel like a lot of times it's easy to be in a relationship, but to fall in love,
Yeah,
it takes patience.
absolutely.
It takes risk.
Sacrifice.
Sacrifice is a key word.
Sacrificing everything.
So, next question on this is, why do you think there's so many people who fell into comfort and not love, right? Because the most easy thing about certain relationships is comfortable.
Right.
You get comfortable with a person, so you're like, why am I going to break up with this person? I'm comfortable.
Right.
You may not be in love, they may not be right for you, but you're comfortable. So
Right.
why do you think so many people fall in comfort and not in love?
I mean, you can apply that to anything. People stay in jobs for a long time that
100%.
that they hate, but they don't want to move because they're so comfortable. They
Yeah.
already got their 401k. They already got their medicals and this and that. They already, got their favorite parking spot.
Yeah.
It could be so many different.
You like your commute.
You like your commute. So, a lot of people just don't want to, and a lot of people are afraid to basically go out the box and do something different. A lot of people are afraid of change, and that applies to everything in the political world, and social media, and in every aspect, in every genre. Sometimes people are just afraid of change, and something. In order for us to kind of come out of that, it always takes something drastic to happen. You get fired, you was dealing with somebody and it turned sour, so it went so bad that you had to relocate. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like we just really have to be trusting ourselves, and it's kind of basically knowing your true purpose.
Yeah.
And knowing your gift. Because I'm telling you, even though I'm at a job that I don't like, but if you know your self-worth, you know that, okay, I'm at this place, but I'm not going to be here for long. Because
Save that thought, because that's actually one of the follow-up topics.
Okay.
But we're gonna come back with that sentiment. So Cliff, why do you think it's so easy for people to fall into comfort versus falling in love?
I think sometimes with the comfort, especially when it comes to the age factor, right? Somebody in their 20s, whatever, they might be like, all right, I'm gonna explore this, but I'm good. But when you 30 and up, you comfortable. You ain't really trying to learn
You ain't trying to rock the boat.
Yeah, you ain't really trying to learn new attitudes, new personalities and stuff. So you say, sometimes people stay in a relationship and be miserable because they're like, listen, I know this person.
Right.
It's the devil you know versus the devil you don't.
Exactly. I'm at the age where I really can't deal with change right now. So I'm gonna try to make it the best as possible to work in this relationship. So that's where I think that's where the comfortability is. Like you said, a lot of the times you stay at a job because you know it's gonna pay the bills, and you got certain things that you
learn how to
obtain.
live with the check that you already got.
Exactly. So you say, you know what, I'm just gonna stay in this place. And I think a lot of times relationships now with the comfortability is, especially with the age factor, is I'm in my mid-30s or 40s, whatever, and I don't want to change right now. I don't want to learn a new person, so I stay with the person.
It's funny, right? Because I totally agree with what you guys are saying. Like I always joked on episodes in the past. Like I say I'm a domesticated cat. Like I've been married for 10 years.
Right.
So if you force me to go out back in the wild and fend for myself, it's gonna be a shock.
Yeah.
But I do believe that you can't have a strong relationship just by being comfortable, right? Because it doesn't feed your soul. It doesn't feed your needs. So even now, as a married person, I continue to challenge my wife and have her challenge me as well to just like, yo, I don't want to just be together because we know each other. I want us to continue to grow and develop. So comfort is cool. Even at work, I've been at my job for 6 years, and it's banking. And now things are happening where it's just like a lot of banking jobs are relocating because of cost savings. So now I'm in a dilemma of I have to start looking for a new job. But I'm embracing that challenge because I was comfortable.
Right.
I was there for 6 years. I've been here for 6 years, not really appreciated, and I know I'm more valuable than I'm being currently valued at.
Right.
But I got comfortable. Like I like my commute.
Right.
I know how to work my bosses.
Exactly.
But you know what? God will throw a challenge in your life.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you a question, right? Because we all married here. We all married men, so we speak from a married perspective, right? Like, say tomorrow we had to start over. Would it be easy for you, Cash, to just start over, knowing that I just seen that you just celebrated an anniversary with your wife. Congrats on that.
Appreciate
Yeah, congrats on that.
9 years.
So,
Okay.
I've been married 5 years together with my wife, 12 years altogether.
Gotcha.
Would it be easy to just start over like that if tomorrow you say, you know what, I gotta just.
You know, it wouldn't be easy, of course, because you with someone for such a long time. It would actually be, you know, because I know. How could I explain it?
She's watching.
You know,
She's watching, so be careful.
She will be watching.
No, because you know, honestly,
Be careful.
because you know, because you're gonna have to measure up. Whoever you're gonna meet, you are gonna always measure up that person with your last. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And no one is gonna be the same. So you just have to kind of like get out of that mist of as far as when you start over, you got to make sure that you're completely healed and you completely over the one that you just was dealing with.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
You know, that's the question. Like,
That's smart.
you got to be completely healed. You got to give time to yourself. Be by yourself. Spend time with God. He can heal you, and you know, just get your whole alignment, refocus, and then once you know in your heart that you're ready and to move forward, then I feel like it will be much easier.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
So you answer the question. You got to answer the question too.
No, I asked y'all first, so you got to answer.
All right,
first.
so it's gonna be tough, right? Cause like I said, I've been married for 10 years. I've been with my wife for like 11 and change. So it's tough, but I feel like what I've been through with my wife and then prior relationships, I now know myself better than before.
Right.
So now I know what I need. Now I know what I expect. Now I know also what I need to contribute to a relationship. So it wouldn't be easy, right? Because like I said, I'm a domesticated cat. Been married 10 years.
Yeah.
I don't even want to. Dating's so tough, but at the same time, I feel like I'm more mature. I know the questions to ask. I know the things to observe. I know to stop. I used to always fill in the gaps, right? And I always tell people that's why relationships fail. When people show you like tendencies that don't make sense to you or doesn't work, and then you say, you know what? Even though they're doing this, they meant to do this. So you kind of excuse their behavior. No, you got to take it for what it is. So I know these kind of things, so that will help me. What about you, Claire?
I'm an old school Haitian cat, so so it's tough for me, right? If I had like to start over and really learn somebody at this point in my life, it would be it would be hard for me because, like I said, I'm old school. I'm set in my ways. So, like even the communication factor, a lot of times I'm talking to my boys who's single, whatever, and then I'm like, you talking to shorty, but all you doing is texting her. So it's crazy because like now relationships, or even if you're just talking to a woman or vice versa, a woman talking to a man. Everybody's communicating to texting. I remember when you met the person.
It's even worse. You're doing memes now.
you
Now
met-
you're communicating through
you met
memes
the
and funny
person,
stuff.
You met the person, and then you really got to know that, you know what, I ain't messing with this. Nah,
Right.
she ain't on my level, or he ain't on my level. But now I'm talking to my boy. He told me he spend $1,000 a month on dates, and I'm like, boy. I mean, he got a good job and stuff, but it would be tough for me to start over because I'm not into the whole just texting somebody because I really gotta have that one-on-one conversation. So I think in the new generation, and this, if I, God forbid, my marriage didn't work out, I'd be destroyed because I don't know how to angle
it's
it
tough.
out.
You gotta really. I think the way social media is a gift and a curse, right? Because social media has made us not only stop developing real personalities, right? Because I'm lit on the gram.
Yeah, right.
So shorty gonna fall in love with me being lit on the gram, and then you slide in the DMs and you using memes, like I said. So a lot of times people don't even know how to have phone conversations anymore. Like when we was kids, before social media was around, sometimes you on the phone with shorty till your parents said, get off the damn phone. But you had communication skills. I feel like that's gone.
Yeah.
All right, so the last question on this topic, and we kind of spoke on it, but is if you had to date yourself, would you fall in love with yourself?
Absolutely.
I hear that, but elaborate on that. Why would you fall in love with yourself?
Oh man, because I'm loyal. I'm very passionate in anything that I do, especially when you're in love. When you love, especially me, you're very passionate and you're loyal.
Yeah.
Even by default, I have friends, relationship that I still keep to this day because I'm just loyal to those people.
Yeah.
Even though we don't talk every day.
Yeah.
But I'm just loyal. That's just how I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very outgoing, but at the same time, I'm a very complicated individual.
Yeah.
I'm very complicated because I just don't allow everyone into my circle. I'm
Yeah.
very
Selective.
Selective, and my discernment is on high. Like I'm just always watching people because one thing about me, it's like there's no phoniness to me.
Yeah. What you see is what you get.
What you see is what you get. Like people could I could be a lot of things, but people will tell you I'm not phony.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. So I'm kind of like a mirror. You understand? And people will say, well, what that mean? And Jay-Z sums this up real prophetic, like real nicely. Like I give off the vibe what you give me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would never.
I keep that same energy.
Yeah, I would never just, if you meet me for the first time, I'm never gonna give you like a bad energy.
Yeah.
But instantly when I meet you, I feel either I feel a good positive energy or negative.
Yeah.
So whatever I feed off of you, you want to get it right in return.
Yeah.
So that's just how I am.
So what about you, Cliff? Would you fall in love with yourself if you had to date yourself?
Nah.
Wow. You kept it a buck though, so I respect that.
You know why? Because I'm a wild card. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm stubborn. I'm a Taurus.
Okay.
Taurus, we very set up. We love money, so we do certain things for money to make sure we secure. And then if we feel like it's not a go, it's not a go. So it's a situation where I know date myself, I'd be like, man, this is crazy. Like, this person is really not gonna change. I wouldn't date myself.
One month for you.
May 5th.
Oh, you're May. Okay.
Yeah.
You're April.
I'm
Okay. So would I fall in love with myself? Yes, but I also like Big Cash said, I'm complicated, right? So I wouldn't choose to make myself a jump off. Because I come with too many complexities, too many emotions, too many. We gotta have communication. Like I'm an over communicator, but I rather over communicate so we don't get stuff twisted, right? So if I say something, I mean what I say and I express it. And then in this day and age, we live in a microwave society where we want to Netflix and chill. So I wouldn't be a good Netflix and chill partner.
Okay.
But if I was looking for someone to build with, if that was the stage of life, then yes, I would definitely date myself. But if I was like, yo, I just want to have fun, I wouldn't be the person. I wouldn't date myself. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
All right, so now we're gonna go to the next topic, which you kind of touched on, and then I stopped you, is knowing your worth, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, like me personally, I'm realizing it now that I'm at my job, and like everyone who's higher than me in my direct group, I tell them what they need to do. I have the information, but they're higher than me, so I'm realizing like, yo, I'm not being paid, compensated, or have the title that I should have because of the knowledge that I have. So I know my values more, but I'm not being compensated like I should. So it made me start thinking about knowing your worth. So do you think the job is paying you what you're worth, your current job?
My current job? Actually no. Yeah, actually no. But at the end of the day, the difference is with me is that's not my period.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? That's not my period. So at the end of the day, there's a comma after that.
Yeah.
And I'm building towards what I'm building, what God gave me.
Yeah.
So nobody. Listen. At the end of the day, as long as you working for somebody, you're never gonna be valued at the worth that you should be valued for.
Correct.
You
I
understand
agree.
what I'm saying? So in order for you to really get the full impact and the full volume of your worth is acting in your gift that God gave you.
Okay. So what about you, Cliff? Do you think your job is paying you your worth?
I mean, I make a good salary. So I-
Yeah, but you bust your ass though
yeah,
to
but
get that
I
salary.
work really hard at my job, but pay me as my worth. I think I'm doing okay with it, but I think there's certain things that, like I said, I'm there for where I like helping people and the money aspect is good.
Got you.
But I mean, I'm okay.
You're
okay.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
All right, so
I'm
to me,
okay.
answer, I know I'm definitely not getting paid what I'm worth, but at the same time, like we touched earlier, I got comfortable. I kind of made my check work for the
Right,
bills that I have.
yeah.
But I'm realizing now, especially lately, the value that I'm adding, especially where I'm at,
Right.
is way more than I'm being compensated. But I feel like God really hit me in the head this season to be like, yo, I'm showing you, like, to the fact where they pay for me to go to other places and train people.
Right.
And the people I'm training are higher level than me. And they're just like, yo, can you keep teaching me and stuff? And it's God is just like, yo, duh, like
Right,
I've been showing you this, but you know what? It's a good thing because now my eyes are open to like I really need to go out there and
Right.
be more confident and be more aggressive on what I need, but also to realize like, yo, the same mentality and skills that I have, I need to develop in something of my own.
Right.
That's why I love when we have entrepreneurs and people who are doing their own thing on, because to me, it takes a certain bravado, it takes a certain step of faith to
Right.
go out and do your own thing, right?
Right.
Because you get comfortable
Yeah.
with knowing that on the 15th and the 30th or every 2 weeks, a set amount of money's hitting your
Yeah.
bank and you know how to move.
Right.
But when your grind determines that, you know if you bust your ass, you could go out and get a crazy bag. But then you know the times where you kind of like, I'm not feeling it,
Right.
nothing's moving.
Nothing's
Yeah.
right,
So
right.
that's why it's just like, you know, people get stuck in jobs. They always say they pay you to give up your dreams. That's what your job is
Right.
doing.
Right.
That's a
So now I'm
fact.
trying to figure out how do I combine passion with the knowledge and skills that I have.
Well, you know what? When you say that they pay you to give up your dreams, that's only one side of a perspective.
Yeah.
I look at it, they pay me to, invest in my dream. That's how I look at it.
That's
You
the
see what I'm
smart
saying?
way to
You see what
use
I'm
that
saying?
as your
So
seed money.
It's
That's
all,
your seed
it's
money.
all about perception, and this is why, again, when I do things, I always got to incorporate the Father because He gives me a spiritual perception that the natural mind can't comprehend. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why it's so important. That's why this is why I'm pushing this type of message, Royale, fashion with the message, because it's just bigger than clothing. It's such a it's bigger. It's such a huge message behind what I'm trying to promote. But I'm just using fashion and clothing as an outlet, as a vehicle, because it's something
That's
that
definitely dope. I'm glad you put that extra point to it, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the business people that I follow on Instagram, stuff like that, always say like, yo, some people be like, oh, I just want to quit my job, and then like even Gary Vee, who's a famous entrepreneur, always says like, no, build skills, learn how to use your time, and use that money as seed money.
Yeah, 100%.
Because a lot of us, we have dreams, we have these ideas, and we go out, and banks are not dying to cut you a check
Correct.
to start your
100%.
business. So
Correct.
take your paychecks, learn how to live on less than what your
That's
paycheck
right.
is, and use that money, save it, do your tithes, and then also use a
Correct.
portion to
Correct.
feed your dreams.
Correct.
So the next question is, how do you determine your worth? What are you doing to increase it?
Me,
Yeah.
just basically investing in myself, investing in my craft, and just basically going after what God gave me. That's how you increase your wealth with anything. Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan wouldn't be the icons that they are because without investing in themselves,
Yeah.
without practicing, without the coach being there. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you have to put that work in. You have to put that determination, that grind, and once people see that, you will see quickly how your worth is going to be valued. Your respect level is going to be at another place because now people are seeing you going to a different dimension that they're not used to seeing you. You understand what I'm saying? So when you say raising your worth, it's not don't only associate it with money and
That's a
and
key
so
thing
it's
I
like-
was going to touch
so
on
it
in
could-
my response.
It could
Yep.
be with respect. It could be with money. It could be
Skills.
skills.
Knowledge.
There's so, knowledge. There's so many different avenues, and once you do all of that, once you raise your worth, it's not only associated with money and money, it could be with respect. It could be with skills. It could be with knowledge. It's so many different avenues, and once you do all of that, once you raise your worth, it's not only associated with money and money, it could be with respect. It could be with knowledge. It's so many different avenues, and once you do all of that, once you invest and practice in those fields, the money will come.
Yeah.
That's 100%.
The money will come.
What about you, Cliff? How do you determine your worth, and what are you doing to increase it?
It's definitely with hard work. Definitely with hard work. You could be the smartest person in the world, but if you don't got good work ethic, you won't get ahead, right?
Yep.
And also you gotta be spiritually connected, right? Since I was spiritually connected, and also giving back, or just being thankful to situations and keeping a positive energy, you could see the value of the quality of how people respect you more.
Right. Yeah.
Right, and that's the 100% the truth. Because I know, even with my job, I work in a jail environment, but there's certain things that I can do that others can't do, and that react with inmates. Working with inmates is not easy because
Yeah.
you're dealing with day-to-day operation, but I can work anywhere, and I get the same response because I never go in there and try to tell them I'm better than you.
Right.
Or be something you're not.
Be something I'm not.
Right.
Yeah.
They see the sincere me, and they can ask me. They feel like I got an urban feel, so they can ask me the questions of what's going on. I let them know, listen, life is not over.
Yeah.
You know, you made a mistake. Today, I could leave today. I'm a married man. I could leave today, go home, see my wife having a relationship with another man, and I could be in jail.
Right.
Just
right.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I always let them know that, anybody could be in jail. You could leave here today, not wishing that, hit somebody with a car. If it's not played out the right way,
Right.
you still might get some time.
Yeah.
So I always say that having a positive attitude and working hard will get you ahead.
Yeah.
People, not everybody, but people will acknowledge that, this brother comes in, he does his job, he doesn't give us any problem, and he's really connecting to whatever he's doing. Whatever you do, whether you corporate, jail setting, hospitals, whatever,
Yeah.
I always feel like hard work is going to get you better.
Right.
And make you move
So
forward.
if I could answer that question, like, how do you determine your value, and what are you doing to increase it? Like I said, I've been at my job for 6 years. I work at a big investment bank, and then I just realized that for the majority of the time that I was there, I was just working hard, right? And in certain environments, just working hard is good enough, but then you start to speak to people in the higher ups, and they're like, oh yeah, they know you work hard, but all you do is work hard, right? So to increase your value, you have to add value to your situation, right? Because when you just work hard, you're doing what they tell you to do, and you're doing it vigorously, which is cool, but you're not differentiating yourself, right? If you just work hard at what they ask you to do, then you're sort of like depending on just like physical labor, like sort of like you could put a different animal on the plow, and whatever animal work hard can push you.
100%.
But if you learn, like, you know what, okay, in my job, this is how we're doing it, but this is how we could do it better. This is how we could do it more efficiently. This is the things that we're doing that's working wrong. That's when I realized this is how I'm adding value. Now I'm valuable. Now they come to me and say, how do we handle this situation? Because I've learned to think outside of the box. So
But
that's how
then,
I've added value.
and also, to piggyback what you're saying about the job market, you got to separate yourself and put yourself in that spotlight. Because sometimes you could be working hard, but you don't say anything, and the job think you okay. If the job is paying 50 cents and you're not gonna say nothing, and they know
They
you're
think
doing
50 cents is good.
they think you're doing all these other ventures, you bring all these other projects, you going outside the box, but you don't say nothing. Communication is key. If you don't communicate to your boss or the next level, that to get to the next level, they'll never know that you're not happy about the situation. So I always tell yourself, work hard and also speak up for yourself, because that's when people know, okay, you know what, he has been picking up his work. He hasn't been coming on time and picking up extra projects or whatever you do, whether you corporate or whatever. So communication is key. Even in relationships, if you don't communicate with your partner, or we all married with our wife, whatever, half the time she ain't even gonna know that you mad at her because you're not saying nothing.
Right.
Because,
So-
like you said, that's perfect. Sort
Yeah.
of like a lot of times, even when you start to evaluate, when we take into relationship aspect, you'll see people who've been married for years, and all of a sudden they get divorced, and you're like, damn, all these years I thought they was happy. What happened is just like, yo, they both was ignoring each other. They was just doing what was used to be cool. Sometimes what you was doing 5 years in, 10 years in, they're like, yo, that shit's not good enough.
Right.
But they accepted it for 5 years. You
Right.
thought it was great, and
Yeah.
you kept doing it for another 5.
So-
But we got to grow.
Right.
So,
Yeah, that's not my wife. She lets listen. And that's one thing about her is that, when she feels a certain way or she has something on her mind, she expresses it.
Yeah.
So,
that's a big thing.
and one thing, she would never let you feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
We need
So,
that.
See, I can't
Shake things
let
up.
me tell you something. If I can't be comfortable around her, you know, because she will let you know and she will let you have it. So, you know, she's like also. I mean, I've always been a self-driven, because even when
Self-motivated.
self-motivated, I always had an entrepreneurial spirit behind me and ambitionist. But um, but if you just like again, sometimes when you get too comfortable and you just get, because you're human,
Yeah.
she'll let you know like, listen, hey, you know, what are you doing? Or okay, listen, what we got to do for the next 3 years? Like you see what I'm saying? So
You always got to have a plan.
always
But
gotta have a plan.
And you always got to reevaluate that plan.
Absolutely.
You know what? And I'm glad that you said that, because I was just having a conversation with my wife the other day, and you know, I'm a new parent. I have a toddler.
Oh,
She
congratulations.
Thank you. She turned.
Congratulations.
Not a new parent. She'd be three
Oh,
in
okay.
December.
All right.
But
fairly new.
it's crazy, because all the things that we used to just do, now it's like everything got to be planned.
Yeah.
Even to be intimate, like I went from growing up. I gotta keep it 100. I
Yeah.
went from getting it when I want to get it. Now we gotta play the sneaking games, and
that's just one child.
and
Right?
then,
That's just one
that's
child,
just,
right?
that's just
Yeah.
one child.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like I said, with everything is about communication, because with your job, with the job market, relationships, and everything, if you communicate well, people will take that and respect that.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you don't say nothing, people would take it as, okay, he's okay with it.
Yeah, that's
so
a fact. So the last question on this topic of knowing your worth is, what skill you feel you're missing to become the ultimate you? What's up with you, Cash?
I think at the end of the day, when you wake up every day, that's an opportunity to develop any type of skill.
Yeah.
As long as I'm living, I'm always open to learn
Yep.
and
To live is to learn.
to live is to learn and just to try to get accustomed to different various skills and knowledge as much as possible. So and that's it. You know what I mean? As long as I'm living, I'm just trying to get better and better and better.
Yeah.
You know.
So the question, Cliff, is, what skill you feel you're missing to become the ultimate you?
I think when it comes to certain skills, I feel like I'm a wild card. I take chances, so that's a good trait. When it could bite you, also too when you're a wild card like that. But I feel like I'm so set in my ways with certain things that when it comes to like advancing certain departments, I don't give it a shot, and then I could fail from that.
Yeah.
But it's a learning process, right? You know, every day you can learn something new from somebody. I don't even use age factor. Like even when I'm working out in the gym or lifting weights, whatever. Like for instance, last week I was in the gym, see somebody like 16 years old. He was doing a certain workout. It looked crazy to me. I'm like,
Getting it in, huh?
he was getting it in. I asked him. He was like, I guess he was surprised. I asked him because I got size on me, whatever.
Yeah.
But I've never seen his work. I tried it. And I couldn't do it. And I was like, wow. Because
Yeah.
it was just something that I said, you know what? I seen him twice doing the workout. And the first time I was like, maybe this, whatever. So I said, I got to ask him. But that showed me, I said, I just got to ask. Because sometimes you just don't know the answer and won't respond.
Right.
So I got to be more open to that.
Right.
And just, certain skills. I think every day you can always improve.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You could never be satisfied of your product, whatever you do.
So if I can answer the question, what skill I'm missing the complete confidence in myself. My little brother always tells me that, the confidence in myself, and also just like that effort, give it a shot. I've always been kind of meticulous on what move I want to do next, and kind of, and like opportunity rewards the prepared man. After what's left over by those who really went out and got it. Right. So I don't want leftovers no more. I want to be part of the herd that jump out and go grab it. So the skill set that I feel I need the most is just confidence and belief in self. Because I know I'm educated. I know I have a knowledge and stuff. But this year I kind of learned I'm stepping up to the plate. I'm not waiting for someone to call me out. I just step in and do my kind of thing. So that's the skill I need. So the last topic we're going to discuss on the show is it's only entertainment, right? And it's just like, it's looking at certain things. And a couple weeks ago, we had a show when we talked about Tekashi 6ix9ine, all the drama that he's going through. And it was funny because Cliff was on the other side of the argument than I was. And I was like, Tekashi's finished. He's a snitch and this and the other. And then you're just starting to realize that, you know what? the kids of these
They
generations,
don't care about that.
they're not worrying about you being a snitch as long as they feel like you still lit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it started making me say, like, you know what?
They don't care
I
about
gotta
that.
really think about it because it's only entertainment, right?
Right.
Like I took it so personal, like, yo, he a snitch and he talking thug stuff. I can't believe him. But then I started to say, like, yo, I had to think about it, like, yo, Denzel's not really the dude on Training Day, right?
Right.
And for some reason, we take hip hop and be like, yo, if a guy say he moving 5 bricks, but you find out
And
he's only
that-
selling
that's
nickels,
why I was-
now you upset.
that's why I was-
But everybody exaggerates. It's just a role.
That's
But
why
to
I
me,
was-
I take it personally.
That's why I was
See,
trying
let
to
me-
tell. Go ahead.
Let me tell you, see, hip hop was like that as far as
Yeah.
because one thing when hip hop first
It was
gen-
our voice. It was the
it
voice
was
of
your
what was really
voice,
happening.
it was your experience.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when I was coming up, you know, it was believable because it was so much. Or it was more. What's the word I'm looking for? It was more authentic.
Authentic.
It was
And you could
more-
only official dudes was
Right.
allowed to be the real MCs that represent the
It
hood.
was very diverse, and you know, a lot of this, you know, ABC rhymes and all these type of acts that's coming in. You couldn't do that back in the day.
You'd get laughed at like, yo, this dude is a special ed kid trying to
Let me tell you
rhyme.
something. Like the days of KRS Ones and you know MC Shan, like they will play you, like they will call
Yeah.
you out.
Yeah.
You know the Kumo D's and they will call you out. So, and a lot of things too is like you know a lot of us, not us, but a lot of social media they feed into these you know to like Tekashi 6ix9ine, you know the what's this guy named Blueface. They feed into
So
that.
I was just telling.
They feed into. So when
I
you-
gotta humble myself
This-
and say you were right,
no,
because to me,
because-
I'm from that school of
Yeah.
you gotta be authentic. So much so that I could rhyme too, but then I realized that the lyrics that I loved and stuff was the street stuff because that's what would go around, but that wasn't me. So I said I can't go out there and talk about I'm moving bricks and
But
shit.
this
because that's not me.
generation.
So I took a step back, even though I felt I had the skills. I'm like, yo,
Right,
I'm
yeah.
rhyming about content I can't
Yeah,
support.
yeah,
But go ahead, Cliff.
But this generation, you could see before the game.
Yeah,
right?
big
so
time.
I'm saying, like, listen, somebody could rap for me right now, and I could change my whole Instagram and my whole Facebook, and I could really get it popping out here because it's all about being CB4. You don't know who's acting, who's for real. Because a lot of
Let me
Go ahead.
answer the question, and then you can go back to what you're talking about because I want to get the question out.
Go ahead.
So we don't expect actors to really be who the characters they play. Why do we care if rappers keep it real? But go ahead, Clifford, finish what you were saying.
like I said, it's this generation now. You can be CB4, you could be okay. Like,
yeah,
with my Instagram and my Facebook, if you look at it, it's more family oriented and it's more things
that's
that
who you are.
the things that I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
But if tomorrow, if somebody started writing lyrics for me and whatever, I could turn it up and be in the streets. You know what I mean?
But the thing
But
is, you
it's-
have real credibility as far as people know you for being like, you know, not a punk dude. You take care of your business kind of thing. Tekashi was a science project.
But listen,
a complete science
but
project.
a lot
yo.
of times now, people don't need to do the research. They just want to hear what's going on.
Yeah.
And if you popping, you popping. This new generation, they don't care about lyrics and when you got to come to the right. You back in the days and stuff, you really had to be a rapper to go in that battle and rap.
That's right.
Now it's like, if you just,
about
it's
outbeat.
just a wave and you got to beat.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's it.
All right, so Cash, what do you feel like? Why are we holding rappers to a different standards than actors?
Because I just feel like rappers could kind of reach to the.
It's
people.
the same thing nowadays, though.
I feel the reason why people kind of differentiate the two is because I feel like hip hop artists or any type of musician can really connect to the people more so than a movie, an actor
Yeah.
in a movie. It's a different intimacy where you know you're a musician and you promoting some type of music. It's just a different vibe that you connect with the people.
Yeah.
So being real is very important because if you just be yourself, like a person like J. Cole, you know, I consider him one of the millennial rappers, and he ain't talking about pushing bricks, he ain't talking about shooting people,
Yeah.
but because Jay-Z invested in him and signed him is because he's authentic.
Yeah.
And he's real. He has a genuine talent, and he's diverse.
Yeah.
He could, you know, he talks about matters of life. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and then someone who's on the outside that's going through something, and J. Cole was touching that topic, he's connecting with that person
Yeah.
because J. Cole's being himself and he's being real.
I,
You feel what
I
I'm saying?
100% agree. Like, you know, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, these kind of dudes make me feel comfortable to continue to love hip hop
Right,
because
right.
it's not like they're corny. They're dope. They got the skill set. They feel relatable, and at the same time, it's just like, yo, the story they're telling is not that crazy. They
Right.
still speak of hood elements, but they tell you this is what's going on. This is how you
Absolutely,
navigate
yeah.
out of it. To me, to answer the question, like the reason why I hold my hip hop artists to a different, you know, standard than actors and stuff like that, right? Because to me, music is the language of the soul to me, right? So like it's like I always tell my wife, and you know, like I don't know if not all couples do this, but like some couples speak like, you know, if their spouse could get with like a celebrity, like I tell my wife, if you could bag the Rock and that's your dream, I'm gonna look the other way because you bagged the Rock. And then when I make that joke, I'll be like, I'll bring up Rihanna or Lauryn Hill, and she goes, Lauryn Hill? Why? I said Lauryn Hill music was a soundtrack of me growing up. So I love this, you know, the music touched my soul kind of thing.
Right.
When I watch a movie, I know I'm watching a fairy tale or fantasy for an hour 45, 2 minutes.
Right.
But music stay with you much longer. You in the gym trying to get it into the music. You driving to work, battling traffic to the music. So I hold my music people to a different standard because I want that music to speak to my soul.
Yeah, it's a different
But
connection.
when you research Tekashi and you hear like, yo, like I never believed Tekashi anyway.
Right, I never.
So
yeah,
why?
right,
So
right.
why am I losing my mind that
Right.
he's snitching and he's gonna
Yeah,
go back to
yeah,
the light?
But I was
why
trying to-
people why people are so surprised that he's snitching. He wasn't built like
He
that. in the
wasn't
first
built
place.
like that.
Yeah, y'all knew that. Y'all just entertained
Even when
that.
you saw him fight at the airport, and
Yeah.
he's swinging
ran,
and falling,
he ran,
and
yeah.
like you knew it wasn't somebody who was
It
built
was,
like that.
But the thing about it is people. I was trying to tell you that people don't care about
I
that.
know
People
it
don't
bothers
care
me
about
so
that.
much
It-
because
people
now I feel like I should have seen before the game.
Yeah.
If I didn't have to have no street cred, if I didn't have to get no real cosign,
People don't
and
care.
I know goons,
People-
I could have just had the goons around me.
People
But
don't care about that.
Yeah.
It's just all about the image you present yourself. That's it.
yeah, all right. So the next question on the topic is: are black entertainers held to a different standard?
100%. Because as a black entertainer, you got to be careful what you're saying, how you present yourself, and who you associate yourself around.
Fact.
Because like, if you want to cross over into the next audience and start being an actor or just be in certain meetings, you know, sometimes you got to dumb down your music. Your music you could have came out as hard as crazy, you know, all the hard lyrics, and then all of a sudden you want to get into this next, you know, New Balance commercial. You want to start doing stuff with, you know, the NFL or whatever.
Yeah.
You got to dumb down your music. You got to make it where you could cross over.
Yeah.
So black entertainment is definitely 100. Anything you do as a black person, you got to dumb down your
'Cause our
character a
people
little
judge
bit.
a
Because in the
little
same
harder.
thing, even in the job market, I might get suspended for something, and then this white person might get suspended for something. The same thing, and they might give him 2 days, and he might give me 8 days, and then I gotta bring my union rep in.
Yeah.
And you like, he only got 2 days?
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
we
it's
we
just-
spoke about the justice
it's
system last
not-
week.
it's
It's so
not-
many times where people get charged for the same thing, but when we look like us, the time is different.
It's just a matter of you gotta have good character issues, especially as a black man in America.
Yeah.
So that's
So what do you feel like? Are black entertainers held to a different standard, guys?
Listen, black people in general, is held to a different standard. You know, we have to always work 10 times harder than our contemporaries. You know what I'm saying? So, in anything that we do, you know, whether you trying to apply for a job, whether you in school, you in college, you a pro athlete, you an actor, you an actress, you in entertainment, we are always held to a different standard.
I feel like we got to put double the effort to get half of the pay or half of the recognition.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a given. That's everywhere. That's every situation.
I do feel like, to co-sign everything you say, I do feel like black entertainers, black people in general, are held to a different standard, and it's tough. But part of it also is we hold each other to a different standard and stuff like that. Like we'll let other people outside of the culture get away with doing certain violations, and then we won't let it go when it's somebody who look like us who does that. You know what I'm saying? All right. So the last question is, and this kind of hit me because Cliff know I'm a big Jay-Z fan, but you know when we spoke about it on the show, when Jay-Z did the NFL deal, I kind of was just like, it kind of bothered me when he said, we're past kneeling. Because no, Colin Kaepernick is still being hurt from the kneeling. And at the same time, our issues, peaceful protest should be respected regardless, right? Because this country was built on quote-unquote protests with the Boston Tea Party. Not to get deep. But, so to answer, the last question is, someone posted, Tyler Perry's doing what we think Jay-Z's doing. What do you think about that? And to give context to that question, right? Tyler Perry just finished building out this dope ass studio. That's crazy. There's no even like Paramount and Warner Brothers. Their studios aren't as big as Tyler Perry's studio. And on top of that, people don't know this, but Black Panther, most of Black Panther was shot at his studio, even before it was completely finished. The majority of it was shot there. But I say that to say this. The question is saying that in our heads, we've been told that Jay-Z's doing all this great stuff, but we can't tangibly see it. We seen the tour of Tyler Perry's studio, and any movie you could think about, it don't got to be a black movie. Any movie you could think about could be done at that studio. It's that big, and the resources is that there. So what do you think? Someone said Tyler Perry's doing what we think Jay-Z's doing. What do you think about that?
I don't agree with that.
Okay.
No, I definitely don't agree with that.
All right.
You know, that's never been done before. What Tyler Perry has been doing, what has done.
Yeah.
And for him to do it at that location where it was a
Confederate,
it's just, and then the amount of jobs that this man is providing, and then I heard that he's doing, he's gonna have like homeless women that's been in abusive relationships and some things of that nature.
He's doing hiring practices just to help people, like marginalized people.
He's doing such a phenomenal, and I feel like it's not getting enough gratitude.
What it's saying is just like, I agree with you, what you're saying 100%. But this question is saying that we think Jay-Z's really doing it, but he's not really doing it. Tyler Perry's really doing it. So what do you feel about that?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, because what Tyler Perry's doing is more of an impact in our community.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's, you know, he owns that. It's like, we own that.
Yeah.
We don't own the NFL.
I ain't gonna hold you. If I ever in a place where it's just like I'm about to put a movie out, I'm like, it got to be a Tyler Perry studio.
Be a Tyler Perry studio.
That'll be part of what I write in my contract.
Yeah.
So,
to answer the question,
Tyler Perry's in the class of his own lane, and there's two different tax brackets, right? Tyler Perry's probably worth $400 million, $500 million if you Google that.
Yeah.
Jay-Z is in the $1 billion club. When you're in the $1 billion club and you just got in, it's certain things that you're not really in control of.
Yeah.
So I don't appreciate what Jay-Z is doing.
Yeah.
Because it kind of fits. He's kind of rocking the boat with me, but I understand it.
But we do need a seat at the table.
Yeah, we that's what I said. I understand it. So it's like Tyler. If you Google it, Tyler Perry probably worth $450 million.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like
yeah.
In that bracket. Jay-Z's a billionaire.
Yeah.
So when you get in that billionaire club, you're not really making certain decisions that you really can't call the shots how you really want it to, because certain people that you reach out to and ask for advice, they're gonna tell you, "Yo, man, you gotta do it this way."
Yeah.
If you want to stay up here with us, you gotta do it this way. Or if you do it your way, you might go back down a little bit. You might be respected from your peoples, your African American peoples, and the minority peoples, but you're not gonna be in this club too long. So I get it. So it's a fine line where he doesn't really have creative control. Tyler Perry took it to the extent of, listen, this is how this is how it's gonna be. I always approach it this way, and I'm not gonna stop.
So I hear what you're saying. This is my feel on that particular question or that issue. I feel like Jay-Z has been so focused on capitalistic values and ideas that although Jay-Z does a lot of good work, I'm not taking away from Jay-Z's work. Jay-Z's race was always to the billing, to being a billionaire and stuff like that. So I feel like he lost focus on building like infrastructure or things like that that's really going to be able to more so have that lasting impact. Because he was just chasing the money. Where Tyler Perry said, yo, I'm good money-wise. Now I'm start building my own platform. Like, Jay-Z has record labels and stuff like that. Jay-Z has a lot of blueprints and stuff like that. But there's nothing Jay-Z has that lasting impact that Tyler Perry studio.
But
will
to
have.
say that you're a billionaire as a black man and come from Marcy Projects, you don't want to destroy that. So you don't want to. You don't.
But once you have $1
I
billion,
know, but
you
listen.
smart enough to know how to prevent people from getting you like that.
But listen, what I'm trying to tell you is, when you get that seat, you don't want to lose your spot. So you're gonna do a lot of little things that and compliment, maybe outside of your character, just to stay.
Yeah.
And that's what
But
I
to
feel.
me,
What I feel the difference between Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry is a person who was homeless. He started his plays out of nowhere, and he became very successful. And people, he used the same characters in every movie. If you look at House of Pain, any Medeas and everything,
He definitely put money in people's pockets.
He always recycled his actors because he said, "Listen, you started from me from the bottom, and I'm staying with you, regardless of what." But the thing about it is, he's comfortable like that. Jay-Z is in a point where he said, "Listen, I'm a billionaire and I want to stay there." So it's tough. And I still I don't like Jay-Z music because I'm a Nas fan.
I'm a Nas fan too, but I love Jay-Z.
But I can respect. I can see what's going on business wise, what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
You know me, I always said, like, you know what, it's Jay-Z worries too much about being exclusive, and I get it. You want to be up there, you want to have the equivalence, but to me it's just like, why is your value being aligned to, like, you know, all these people of non-color to say you in that same room and stuff like that? All right, so, you know, that's the end of the show. You was a great guest, so I want you to take time right now to shout out how people can go get your clothing line, your IG links, all that stuff.
So basically, again, as early to show, you know, I'm Day Cash. I'm the founder of Royale Clothing. It's a positive clothing brand. It's very inspirational. It's motivational. It's for the people. And listen, it's black owned, so you should support it. You can find me at you can reach my website at royale5g.com, or you can catch me at Instagram at ROYEL_5G. So if you want to communicate with me, you could communicate with me through IG, or my Yahoo address is www.royale5g@yahoo.com, and my website is royale5g.com. So that's the way.
And make sure they know the Royale is spelled differently when they go to the website,
Yeah,
right?
it's ROYEL5G.com. You know?
Yes.
So not with an A, but an E. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely support brand. Even if you go to his Instagram and see the jackets, and it's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough. I gotta cop me some stuff.
Yeah, let him show it real quick. Show him. Give him something he can show. Show the audience real quick. Show the jacket.
Like that red color one is me.
Yeah,
like on the
everything,
flyer, y'all saw the
everything.
flyer.
Everybody.
And let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. We gotta support each other, right?
Yeah.
I seen Mr. Cheeks wearing your brand the other day.
Yeah, big
what
shout
you
out
call
to
it?
Mr. Cheeks,
Is,
man,
You know,
and
what you call it? This
and
what
Graph,
you call
too.
it? Like,
Yeah. So
you
great.
gotta support black, and they got the clothing line got a lot of swag, right? Because when I
Definitely.
seen it and I sent it to my brother, I'm like, this is something that I definitely will put on and rock. So
Yeah.
support your black-owned businesses, and like it's easy to go in these stores and it look like the same, whatever. When you got somebody who's a black man who's trying to do something positive, support our guest of Day Cash and his clothing line and his business, whatever. That's what I want to shout out. And I'm gonna keep reaching out to anytime you got a function or whatever. We want to have you back on the friend zone because that's what our podcast is about, reaching out.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate that, man.
And like I said, I want to shout out, I guess they cash. Like I said, it's flavor. It has a meaning. So you ain't got no excuse to not support, right? It has a meaning. It's faith based, and you won't out here look corny rocking it. You know what I'm saying?
You know
You
what I'm
actually
saying?
will look lit. But
That's
shout
what's
out to Greedy Gut and Open Shirt Poppy. They wasn't here for the finale, but they'll definitely be back with us when we come back next season. Shout out to everybody who's been supporting us. The number's been crazy lately. We want to keep growing. We're gonna go on a little winter hiatus, get right, get the family, go through the holidays. We'll come back in the new year. But while you're
strong.
missing us, go back. This is our 77th episode. If you missed the episode, go back, listen to it, see how crazy we
77,
are.
number of
See the
completion.
views. You know what I'm saying? See the symbolism and all that. We out. Peace.
Peace,
Love you
views.
guys.
One.
Views from the friend zone. I'm trying to reach the end zone. You think I'm kinda sweet and you wanna be friends though? It's cool though. Just don't try to play me for no fool, yo. Views from the friend zone. I'm trying to